and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Ursasaurus Cup number 3. I'm, of course, your TvP, and with me, I'm joined by these amazing players, the people in the chat, and my lovely plushies as well. Welcome. I do apologize for the delayed start. Oh, good. I do apologize for the late start. There were some walkovers, so the first round took a little bit to really get going. So again, I do apologize. Walkovers have been processed, and now we're jumping into round number 2. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the American Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Clan RITSC. It is mudkipmaster. Second week in a row that we're going to be casting mudkipmaster, so I do appreciate the continuity here, seeing their rate of improvements. Likewise, HonMonO is going to be one of the favorite players to make it a little bit further in the event. We'll see if he can be slowed down. We'll see what the Pokemon Master has to offer. Let's go. Meanwhile, if you're in the chat, predictions... Oh, right. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. We'll try to stay on top of those predictions for as best as I can. And again, the bracket is live, the bracket is stacked, the bracket is massive. We'll be going over the bracket after this series. There's a lot to go over, a lot of players to embrace, and a lot of potential matchups to really look forward to as well. So again, we'll be going over the challenge bracket after we wrap up with this best of 3. We'll get there. We will get there. Until then, we are going to be settling in. It is going to be a standard opener here. Economic opener out of HonMonO, going for a single gas geyser. Meanwhile, mudkipmaster across the map, going for a gate, cybercore into expand. Everything so far is looking as it should. Everything so far looking normal. Probe across the map, being as annoying as possible, is going to attempt to delay the CC, but the Marine has arrived at the probe. It should be shut down. The probe does fall, but at least mudkipmaster is aware of the opener. At least he's aware of the CC. And we'll be feeling quite safe and sound back at home. Now, when it comes to HonMonO, if you maybe haven't tuned into his matches as of late, period, HonMonO is hyper aggressive in this matchup. He's very, very all in TvP. You can see him scouting, checking for proxies, making sure everything is as it should be. As a reminder, HonMonO did skip his SCV scout. He's skipping his Reaper scout as well, going Marine first. So because of that, he has limited information to work with. He's just making sure he's safe and secure. This should be leading into Cyclone production. The thing is, HonMonO, he doesn't know if it's going to be a Twilight Counter or a Stargate, so Cyclones are just a well-rounded unit to defend early on, especially if you're in the dark. We'll see if that's where he goes, because that is going to be a second Rax, and I would not be surprised if he goes for a third Rax as well. Oh boy. Meanwhile, it is in fact going to be a Stargate opener. I am now... Oh my god, that's a Ghost Academy! Okay. That I was not expecting. I was expecting a 3-1 2-base all-in, but no, it's going to be a 2-1-1 Ghost Rush. Okay. HonMonO, he's cooking, man. He's cooking. Let's go. So ghosts are on the horizon. Meanwhile, across the map with the Stargate opener, this should be either Oracle or Phoenix, and there we go. It is going to be Phoenix first here by mudkipmaster. This is a good way to gain map control to shut down drop play, but this is not going to be drop play, is the problem. HonMonO is rushing into ghosts instead, and this is going to be a wild build and a wild rush. Behind this, you can see HonMonO preparing, getting ready for the worst. We do have the Widowmine on top of the ramp in case an Adept Stalker or even Phoenix does happen to run past. I'm a little bit concerned when it comes to the rally, as the Phoenix is actually poised to run into the Widowmine. Is moving out. HonMonO back at home, is ready at the natural. At least the main base more exposed, but I say that there is also a Widowmine in the main as well. And the mine shot's going to go up. Oh! Mine shot does go off. Oh, Phoenix will barely survive, barely does get away. On 2 HP, one more shot and it would have gone down. Alas, mudkipmaster does manage to keep that Phoenix alive. The problem, though, is that mudkipmaster has no scouting. He's denied entry into the natural, denied entry into the main, and he does not know the Ghosts are amassing. Ghosts alongside Stim. Oh my god. Okay, the Ghosts are building up. It looks like the Ghosts might be revealed a little bit prematurely, as Phoenixes, they do hit the natural, and they will catch an SCV. So they don't quite go too much further in. I'm not too sure if they did end up scouting that Ghost. And again, the power of the Ghost is going to be the power of the EMP. I say that, actually, Cloak is being researched here. And HonMonO might go for some Ghost Harass. Oh, he's... Never mind. So, I thought this was going to be one of two things. I thought that we were going to be rushing into a Ghost Fruit just for the EMP so the main army can snowball out of control. Or potentially going into something like some Cloak Ghost Harass, which can actually kill workers quite quickly. Instead, HonMonO, he's an animal, and he is rushing into nukes. So there's going to be a nuke rush here from HonMonO. He is moving out across the map. Is going to be scattered, but last, can he be stopped? Phoenixes are coming in from behind. Going to be able to pick off a couple of Marines, but the rest of them do hit the third. Widow Mine is set up. I do feel like mudkipmaster can clean this up, though. The mine shot, though, does connect. Takes down an Adept. Nuke into the main. Marines are going to be cleaned up, but really this is a distraction, and thankfully mudkipmaster does notice in time and does pull away. The Ghost, even hits itself. The self-nuke on the Ghost. But again, Ghost, they two-shot probes, so this is what I assumed would happen. This is doing more damage than the nuke, to be honest. Just two-shotting workers, 6 probes going down. Observer has arrived, 7 probe kills. Not bad. But again, the reality is that Cloak Ghost, they can do a lot more. they can do a lot more. 7 workers go down. HonMonO going into his 3rd CC. Getting another nuke. Going double Ghost Academy, making 2 nukes at a time. And he's going for another Ghost drop. So it's going to be a mudkipmaster to try to keep up with this. Unfortunately, I believe... do we have the Observer back at home? We do, thankfully. Observer is back at home. And can he respond to nuke in time? Nuke is going to be thrown down at the 3rd base. mudkipmaster is checking. mudkipmaster, he will find it, and he will shut down the Ghost. Just in time. Another Ghost gets caught out. Mudkip, let's go! The Mudkip. He's hydro pumping his... I don't know. Hydro pump is something that he's doing it. Just in time to the Ghost. HonMonO is stuck back at home. But is getting to his own 3rd. I will say that, especially because of the delayed 3rd base, because of the build in general of HonMonO, mudkipmaster is in a better economic position. If we saturate 3 bases, can get a 4th. Geeks, they get eyes in the expansion. And for the time being, it looks like HonMonO, he's calming things down and he's not going for any more Ghost Harass. I mean, it's been quite expensive here. It's been, what, 3 Ghosts going down? It's not cheap. So HonMonO is backing up. Saturating his 3rd. When it comes to the compositional choice here, mudkipmaster is going from Phoenixes into Colossi, into Charge. More standard compositioning, except the Malance is done. Up. Catching a Phoenix. Oh, and unfortunately, mudkipmaster leaving his Phoenixes idle here. Yeah, will bleed out 2 Phoenixes. That is unfortunate. HonMonO confirms there is a 4th. Still building up. Chat, this is like a diamond build. Yeah, I'm pretty sure HonMonO, he was hoping to, he's hoping to clown on his opponent. There is a bit of a skill gap between our players. HonMonO, of course, he's like a top GM, and mudkipmaster is Masters. So this is sometimes something that some pro players do, where if they know that they can get away with something wild, then they go for it. So we can see just mass nuke being researched by HonMonO. I will say, thankfully, mudkipmaster hasn't fallen prey to it. So HonMonO's been punished for his greed a little bit here, or for his overconfidence, but, still has a solid army. As mudkipmaster is moving out. He's got 2 Colossi. Can potentially break through this. Oh! As the army is spotted. The zoning nuke will force back the army. Mudkip has to respect it. HonMonO cancels at the last second. More nukes on the way. And the pressure is going to be on the Protoss where to deny that fourth. There's just still so much fire here, though. Yeah, 2 Colossus is not going to be enough. Not against this. Force fields are decent, but the EMP does land there on the sentries. And then the army's forced to recall. Mudkipmaster, get the hell out of there. And without something like Storm or Disruptors, this bio army of HonMonO can snowball out of control. At the same time, Mudkip going for a drop. Alas, HonMonO does spot it. We'll shut it down. More defenders, both players are building up. Disruptor production has begun for the Protoss. Catching a couple of SCVs. Yeah, workers are going down, but HonMonO, I don't think he cares. Doesn't care, not anymore, just rallying everything through the center of the map. And these Novas are going to need to connect. HonMonO pushing forward is going to be queuing up the nukes. We have a nuke for the natural, nuke for the third base. So HonMonO, you can just stim in. Yeah, he can just stim and win. Takes down the Disruptor, takes down the Colossi. And there's just not enough support for the splash damage for the robo units. We have a nuke in the main. And the nukes are popping off. 13 workers going down. Mudkipmaster did deny the first 2 nukes, but not the third. And HonMonO just rotate over towards the 4th base. I mean, there are now 2 Colossus. The army is oversimmed. Mudkip can hold his own. Does force back the main army. Phoenix is still across the map. They can go for some more SCVs. There we go. Catching more workers. I mean, again, because HonMonO's been playing like this and because it's been a little bit wasteful, I mean, the game is still relatively close. I say that, but Mudkipmaster did preserve his Colossus, his Disruptors, at least a few of them. And the only thing holding him back is his production. He's trying to reinforce, has a bank. HonMonO, meanwhile, has not really teched up into something like Liberators, just by a Viking. Oh, and we are heavily investing into more Colossi here. Getting to a 3rd and 4th Colossus. I mean, there's only 4 Vikings. Good nuke at the forward base. Oh, Mudkipmaster, does he notice? He does! Does pull away. Main army's gonna be clashing. We're waiting for those Novas. Nova goes off. Ooh, no major connection. Nice splits here from HonMonO. Does rotate around. Phoenixes get caught out. And it looks like the expansion is gonna fall. Yeah, I mean, this forward base is honestly quite difficult to hold on to. Like, being right next to the high ground is brutal. Mudkipmaster's gonna have to commit with this army. Again, the lack of Vikings means that this Colossus-based composition has potential. True. Disruptors on the way. HonMonO taking his own expansion. HonMonO scans the main army, and Mudkipmaster has to make a choice. Okay, he's turning back home. I was gonna say we can go for a base trade, or he does turn around. The ghost is spotted. Nuke is denied, and again the Colossus are having a way with these Marines. Yeah, Yeah, the Bio Army does crumble. And mudkipmaster, he will take the fight. Takes down all the Vikings. Takes down the Bio Army. And HonMonO, he was just a little bit too overconfident here. Loses every single unit. Medevacs go down. Marines, Marauders. Let's go. Mudkipmaster, don't stop. Keep going. Keep going, baby. Mudkipmaster going for the production. Again, mudkipmaster, I think he's what? He's at like a 2k MMR deficit. Let's go. Oh, does rally the disruptor in. Never goes up. Colossus are starting to be focused down. Oh, he's going to be fighting the planetary and the Bio Army at the same time. Yeah, mudkipmaster, he does take a bad fight. Does overextend. Yeah, bleeding out a lot of high-tech units there. Does get another base up and running, but the problem here is that losing your robo units, it takes so long to rebuild. The Colossus, the Disruptors. Mudkipmaster taking another expansion. HonMonO likewise has his own economy. Planetaries are still up and running. And mudkipmaster has to do something about this economy. We need to deny expansion. HonMonO is going for double nukes. Nuke on left, nuke on the right. We'll take down at least some side defense. Oh, and we are going for the Flea Beacon. Okay. Gonna be threading Sky Toss. Okay, Master's thinking about it. Zelarambai won't do much here. There's a planetary. Planetary will hold its own. HonMonO is going to be able to remax. Likewise, so is Mudkip. I do still favor HonMonO. Like, I feel like Mudkip, he misses moments. There was a window where he was up 30, 40 army supply. That was his moment, but pushing into a planetary was just the hardest position to try to break. It was a tough position. And with that, HonMonO, he survived, he remaxed, rebuilt, moving out once again, this time with a comparable army composition. Split up his army. I do think that going for split pushes is going to be ideal here, and I'm not as certain if Mudkip can kind of keep up with that. HonMonO is going to be able to deny the expansion. Zoning nukes are thrown down, and Mudkip, no, he's going to walk into them. Okay, he notices. Does notice in time, does pull away. The expansion is going to go down. At the same time, HonMonO pushing it on the right hand side, going for the expansion. And then Marauders here, they make short work of the base. The Nexus will fall. Barely up, barely does. Barely does go down. And mudkipmaster is all in. Massive EMPs on the Colossus. Nervous going up, they will connect. Oof. Nuke does detonate here on the mineral line, but once again, mudkipmaster will take the fight. We gotta go. We need to send it. Keep going. Oh, no detection though. Oh, there we go. One of the ghosts does run into cloak. And again, trying to knock down these planetaries, it's not the best move. It's going to rotate around. Alas, longer this goes on, HonMonO is rebuilding. HonMonO has a bank to work with. Observers on the way. Again, Mudkip, he lost the mineral line, lost an expansion. He needs more time, but it's better for HonMonO in the long run. This HonMonO, he is stabilizing. I mean, it's been impressive that mudkipmaster's been able to take these fights. Has been. But he's just been able to win fights. He hasn't been able to really hinder the economy in any way. Another planetary getting up and running. Also, shout out to Late Chronodots. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for the support. Oh, as we do collapse in on the Colossus, one Colossus goes down. Disruptor as well. Novas, they will connect. We get one connection. Celts, they do bust in. Colossus going down to the Vikings. It is a close fight, but mudkipmaster loses every single robo unit. And without them, he cannot contest against the Bio Army. Goes up. Does connect. Okay. Does connect. Mudkip forcing back the army. Only the Medivacs survive. But I do worry about, I mean, the supply here. This mudkipmaster does plummet. And he's running out of steam. Running out of resources. We have half a base here towards the north. Half a base here towards the center. Attempting to expand. And HonMonO, he can just keep going. Can keep rallying. Still invested into the nukes. Once again, Nuke's going to be zoning back the main army. And hopefully mudkipmaster does notice. Yeah, he does. Expansion's going to go down. Mineral line as well. Mudkip, he can't engage into this. Not this time. No disruptors. Only one Colossus. And HonMonO is going to be able to split. Going to be able to shut this down. Gets a Colossus. Goes for the Stalkers. And finally, HonMonO takes a more decisive fight. Trying to be cheeky with the DTs, but alas, there are scans, there's a section. Nukes go off. Once again, HonMonO is overextending here, but he has so much more back at home. He can rally. Speaking of, the rally has arrived. GG gets called, and HonMonO will take game number 1. GG. HonMonO will take the first game. Again, trying to be a little bit cheeky when it came to his build, rushing into ghosts, rushing into nukes. I do appreciate mudkipmaster though, because again, despite being a lower ranked player, he was able to hold his own. He was able to keep up with at least all the nuke play. And honestly, there were some moments where mudkipmaster could have even taken the game. You know, he had advantages. I think there were 2 big moments where he was able to come out on top in the engagements and the fights. Unfortunately, despite winning fights, mudkipmaster was never able to touch the economy of HonMonO, so he couldn't really slow him down. Anytime they tried to counterattack, he would always hit one of the 4th bases where there were planetaries and reinforcements, and HonMonO was able to take better fights. Better fights, better engagements in the end. GG. GG, well played. HonMonO does take a lead, but I want to believe. Do want to believe here as we're getting into game 2. And the game 2 is going to be on Golden Aura. Well, thank you so much, Late Chronodoc. Thank you, thank you. Do appreciate it, do appreciate it. And now we're getting into that second game. After this series, we'll go over the bracket. We'll go over it. We'll get there. Tell us why he is called HonMonO. Not for this game. Not for this series. We'll see if we can get there. Sporting in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the South Korean Terran player living in the land of Japan, representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And sporting in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the American Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, bit of a Gen 3 fan of Pokemon. It is mudkipmaster. Let's go. as we are going to be moving out. Not gonna lie, every now and then I get the urge to play like a nice old school RPG. One of these days. Apparently. I mean, what came out recently? Final Fantasy 16 came out recently on PC. True. Not quite the same. It's not turn-based. We'll get there. But yeah, something that we were alluding to earlier is HonMonO. He is an animal. He's a beast. We've seen him take down players like Max, but HonMonO, his strengths typically lie in aggression. Specifically in this matchup in TvP, he's known for going for 2-base all-ins. He's known for pulling the boys. Like, he can pop off even against the best Protoss players in the world. Last game, we didn't quite see that. Again, last game, we saw HonMonO being quite overconfident, is what I will say. Decided to rush into ghosts and nukes. It's not necessarily a viable strategy, and it's not something that we ever see from HonMonO typically, but he's up against a more amateur player, so he felt the need to, you know, spice things up a little bit. I'm curious if he's been humbled though, because again, game 1 was closer than it should have been. I mentioned before, there's quite a large skill gap between the players, and mudkipmaster was holding his own, again, because of some of the inefficiencies of HonMonO in the build. Constantly going for or spending resources on ghosts and on nukes, especially early on, didn't really pay off in the end. There was like maybe one nuke that really did connect and get a mineral line. That was like one of like 12. Like it just, yeah, it wasn't necessarily worth it in the end. So I imagine HonMonO is going to be taking a different approach this time. I would imagine. As he is going for a 1-1-1. Interesting. This is a more standard build, but that's also why I'm curious. He's going for the 1-1-1. With this, he can head in towards something like Banshee production, into a Raven-based opener, into just early game drop play. There has been a build that a lot of the Koreans have been fond of where they rush into an early Liberator. They go just Marine, Cyclone, maybe Medevac into Lib, just rally across the map early on. And that looks like this might be the case here. And Medevac's on the horizon, and we'll see if it's going to be the Lib follow-up as well. Just very aggressive early on. And if the Protoss player is opening up Stargate like this, they can be caught out. Speaking of the Protoss, it is Stargate into Oracle. The Oracle's going to be able to harass across the map, but this means that we have barely anything to defend back at home. Here comes the army. Doesn't look like much, but it's more than what Mudkip has. Mudkip, he's got 1 Adept, 1 Phoenix, 1 Shield Battery. Phoenix gets caught out. The lock-on barely doesn't bring it down. Overcharge is popped. Mudkipmaster's going to be able to hold on across the map. 7, 8 SCVs going down. Not bad. Workers are falling. And yeah, there's that Liberator that we spoke about. HonMonO, he's just rallying across the map, and he's looking to try to kill the Protoss here and now. And that's 14 SCV kills. Oh my god. Mudkipmaster. The Oracle did well, but the overcharge ran out. There's no more shield battery energy left. And it looks like HonMonO is still breaking through. Takes down the shield battery. Down to 2 workers, sorry, 2 stalkers. Boys are being pulled. Void Rays on the way. And HonMonO needs to get more damage done. Does threaten the main, but where's that Liberator? Wait, where's the Liberator? Oh yeah, there we go. I'm like, I feel like it's taking a while. I'll pick up at a HonMonO. Does pull away. Void Ray has arrived. With the help of the Void Ray, mudkipmaster, he can take the fight. He can and he will. Takes down the Libs, takes down the Cyclones. And after defending here, what's important is that mudkipmaster saved his workers. He saved his workers. mudkipmaster has the economic advantage. If he had something like Blink, if this was not a Stargate opener and a Blink-based opener instead, then he could counterattack. But he's stuck at home. And once again, even though mudkipmaster has an advantage, I would say he can't really press that advantage. He can't really move out, and HonMonO can stabilize. May have lost a lot of workers, but he has the power of mules. So he's going to be able to mule his main, making 2 SCVs at a time, and HonMonO can recover. So I would say a better start for mudkipmaster, but he's still going to be stuck at home. Twilight Council's just now on the way. Forge, Robo. The Protoss doesn't really have much pushing power here. And we'll have to build back up. Taking a third. HonMonO going for a drop. mudkipmaster out of position. He's at the third, which means probes are going down. Drops into the main base. Gets 3, gets 4, gets 5 workers. And 6 probes go down. HonMonO backs up. So far, so good. Likewise, mudkipmaster is also moving up with his own oracle, but this time there is a turret. There's a turret in the main. There is a turret soon to be finishing up in the natural as well. Going for this. Oh! Oh my god. It's close. Stasis doesn't quite go off. And here comes the second wave. Here comes the second push. What do we have to defend? We have vanilla gateway units. Again, if we had charge, if we had blink, if we had something else here to support this army, then sure, but it's slow lots, it's vanilla stalkers. Oracle goes down, and this second wave from HonMonO is looking devastating. He scans though, and he wants nothing of it. It looks like HonMonO doesn't realize that, I mean, there's no charge. Doesn't realize that this army doesn't really have much going for it, and HonMonO, he backs off. Does retreat in the end. I do feel like this army could have threatened the third, even killed the third base. But HonMonO pulls away, which means charge will not finish. Charge will finish, +1 armor as well. Base on the way for Colossus. And we can enter the mid game. HonMonO going for a triple drop. There is a Void Ray to help buy some time. But no shield battery, no support in the main. Vanilla Stalker sounds like an 80s band. Oh no. I'm sure it is. Could be. As Marines, they stim in, they take down the Zealots. As also they trickle into the main base. And there's no shield battery, there's no overcharge. Yeah, HonMonO is snowballing out of control. Takes down 7 workers. mudkipmaster will zone back the army. Force a lift. The damage was done. HonMonO behind this, getting a 4 CC. And now he's moving out. Here we go. Will deny blink. Colossus coming in. I mean, the Colossus is going to be able to have his way with these Marines. We have reinforcements on the way coming in for the surround. The Colossus is going to be targeted down. Without the Colossus, mudkipmaster just can't really hold his own. Not like this. Tank sieging up. Going for the Cyber Core within range of the production, within range of the tech even as well. And blink, it just might not finish. At least the Protoss got charged, but no quite blink. Twilight Council gets shut down. HonMonO does deny. And from here, just has to play it safe. And the Stargate and the gateways. mudkipmaster going for a counterattack, but alas, the Prism gets caught out. And Mudkip he just can't really engage this. Can't quite engage. Else they tried it. They try to dive in. Tanks they punish. Massive tank volleys going off. With the help of the Zealots, it looks like mudkipmaster might be able to clean up at least the tanks and force a pickup. There we go. All 3 tanks go down. mudkipmaster is going to be able to hold. But behind this HonMonO, he's got a 4th base on location. Double expanding, getting a 5th and a 6th. Getting into 2-2. And it's going to be able to reinforce. Now, he's reinforcing with purely Marine. He's making 7 Marines at a time. So, as the Colossus count gets higher, mudkipmaster can actually defend against this, but there's no support. Only a handful of Zealots. And there's no buffer for the Colossus, which means even Mass Marine can get on top of it. Instead, going for the expansion. Next is going to go down. And this time it has been a more secure game for HonMonO. As we mentioned before, game 1 was as close as it was because HonMonO was clowning. Here, this was a more proper build out of our Terran player. And more kind of like proper setup. So taking game 2 a lot more seriously. The initial defense from mudkipmaster was still quite impressive though. I will reiterate, after the early game, mudkipmaster I would say was in a better position. Unfortunately though, like his tech didn't really allow him to do much with that. They were still stuck at home. So despite the fact that HonMonO lost, what was it, like 14 plus SCVs at the start of the game, it didn't really matter as much. It's getting more orbitals, more bases. HonMonO dropping across the map. And we'll just carpet bomb the main. Again, Mass Marine is not the kind of ideal army he wants to be going for, but still depowers the gateways. Oh, the 3 Colossus, they just melt the army though. So despite the lead that HonMonO has, he's not making it easy on himself. it's making himself work for it, but there we go. Marauder production has begun. Now making 7 Marauders at a time. These Marines should be cleaned up. But with the wave of Marauders, that should be the killing blow. It should be. HonMonO sims into the main. Gets a couple of workers. Unfortunately, we're just lacking anti-air here. I mean, Blink was denied earlier, so there's no way to chase down these medevacs. And now here comes almost a purely Marauder army. Again, HonMonO, he's only making Marauders in the production tab. Maxed out and you can move out. And in the end, the Colossus, they tickle the Marauders. GG gets called, and HonMonO, he just has too much to handle. He will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the next round. GG. GG. Again, HonMonO did come in as the favored player, but a shout out to mudkipmaster to be able to hold his own against HonMonO, which is not easy to do. You know, even some of the best Protoss players in the world can have a hard time against HonMonO. And in this series, I will say, despite the typical skill gap, mudkipmaster was able to hold his own, especially in game 1, and even at the start of game number 2 as well. GG. GG, well played. Much love to... Much love to mudkipmaster for competing, for rocking up as well. And with that, HonMonO will advance on into the next round. But I will have to try to update some of these scores.